Some they call it functional alcoholism, but if you know anything about Ben, he's got vision with precision, microphones and a tinkle of derision. You're about to hear what beer can be. It's time for Barley and me.
Welcome to Barley and Me. I'm your host, Ben Rice. We're here today in Sacramento, California at the Teetotalist. With me today from the Teetotalist.
This is Amanda Brincat, one of the co-owners.
I'm Kathryn Altman, the other co-owner.
And our special guest today.
Hey, my name is Grace Loescher. I'm the director of the Creation District, and I run Speak Out Sacramento Productions.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me here today. Yeah. Very important question. What is the Teetotalist?
So the Teetotalist is a zero-proof or non-alcoholic bar. We're trying to create a social space for adults to connect, hang out, relax, have fun, without the pressures or, temptation of alcohol.
Yeah, so brand new. Mm-hmm. What's the history? How are we getting to, where do we start to get to where we are today?
Both of us gave up drinking in 2022, and we realized there just wasn't a lot to do that wasn't centered around alcohol or, wasn't for adults, I guess. So Amanda had the idea, and we were like, what if we have an alcohol-free bar?
I love going out and being social and trying new things, and I felt that as soon as we stopped drinking, my social life made a drastic turn. So, we tried to find things to do that, weren't centered around booze and just in a more comfortable environment for us, and we were having a hard time finding things. So we decided that we would create a space where people didn't have to feel awkward like that. And the more we talked to people about our idea, the more excited people became, the more sure we were that this is something that Sacramento needed, and so we just kind of went for it.
Yeah, and Sacramento does need it. I think most communities do, and I think a lot of, like you said, the American culture is very much alcohol focused. Yeah. So I think the people that don't partake kind of get either made fun of or just lost in the shuffle. Mm-hmm. And I think there's a lot of people that would be served by this venue that people wouldn't even imagine exist in the world, just because there's not really a focus or there's no research, there's no questions. So how has it been since you've opened?
I think it's been pretty well received. There are a handful of other cities in the U.S. that are doing this well. Like San Francisco has a space, mm-hmm. Austin, Sandsbar there was one of the pioneers in this industry. New York has a couple, Florida, Denver. So I think, as it's kind of moving west, I guess you'd say, I think people are just, realizing that there's a change in the mindset of what it means to socialize and, how to go out and show up as yourself, and creating spaces where you don't feel awkward going up to the bar and ordering a soda water. You don't have to worry about people asking you all of those questions. So we get people coming in here being like, this is amazing. I never thought I'd be able to go out and not have that fucking conversation with somebody about why aren't you drinking? Come on, just one. What's the problem? So yeah, I think people are excited.
And that's a problem. People are like, why can't you have one? What's the problem? The problem is that there shouldn't be any mm-hmm. stigma on this. And doing this podcast where I go to breweries all the time, I constantly am telling these brewers, you should be looking at non-alcoholic technology, because that is going to be, you're losing a part of your market, mm-hmm. to something very simple. Because you brew the regular beer, and then you, at this point, it used to be to burn it off. Mm-hmm. You just take a bunch of heat to it, and that's why it always tasted like metal. But now we just use pressure and vacuum and just suck the alcohol out. It's retains most of the quality, and it's just an extra step. It's mm-hmm. not some crazy thing.
Exactly.
And you can do it with any beer that's less than 6.5%. So you're not even changing your brewing style. You don't even have to get a new brewing space. You just take this stuff, put another vacuum, suck it out, and you've got this thing that will bring in money. Exactly. I just don't understand why you wouldn't do it.
Yeah, we had the rep from Best Day stop by earlier this week or last week, and he said that it's just a cold press filtration system that the mesh that they use is fine enough to stop the alcohol particles from going through, and so that's all it takes. And Oak Park Brewing, they spent 2 years developing the recipe, but they put in the work and the effort for it because, like you said, it is something that's really needed here, and it's not that hard. We went out to dinner tonight, and we ended up going to a second restaurant because the place there had 0 things on the menu. I don't know, even Heineken makes a 0.0 now,
And I would argue better than the regular Heineken.
I think I would agree with you.
because you get a lot of skunk Heineken. Mm-hmm. I've never had a skunk to 0.0, and it's not even a popular big mover. And I'm like, how old is this can? Way old, and it's still delicious. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It's just kind of those a market that exists. For me, I'm like, I've been at a bar, and I'm like, I've had 3 beers. I'm like, I want to hang out, but I can't keep drinking. I'm like, but I also, it's nice to have I still want beer flavor, mm-hmm. but I don't want beer. and decides to have that option. That's like an easy thing to sell. Instead of just giving somebody a water for 2 hours, you get to sell them a product and make that money you were missing. Like, what is the downside?
Yeah.
Anyway, having a great day. So Grace, how do you get involved here? How'd you end up here?
Well, first of all, I'm super into what they're up to. I think it's really, really cool. And I echo everything that was said. I do drink, but I also, I'm like a busy and productive person. And I like to be able to have like a happy hour and then do shit afterwards and work or jam or work out and not be like totally laid out at 6 p.m. So I think it's a much needed space that I was curious in from the beginning. But our connection point was in, we're having a show this Thursday that's going to be an open mic. Speak Out Sacramento is an open mic I've hosted in Sacramento for quite a few years, took time off during the pandemic, but am coming back for the first time since that. And I was like, oh, this is exactly the spot that I want to start back up in and partner with. That's like new, creative, cool, open energy.
Yeah. And beautiful space also. Very welcoming, very inviting. I guess all I need to say, really, it's a product that people should check out. It's not, because there's a stigma of, it's just for alcoholics, recurring alcoholics, or people that have medical things. You can also, pregnant women also still okay to do that. Like, there's so many actual things you can do with this product. And so it's really exciting that you guys are doing this here. A place that I think really could use one. It's a state capital. There's a lot of politicians going around. There's a lot of a crazy beer scene. So like, it's just a place to just cool down for a minute.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly. Once we have our permanent location, we plan on building out the bar a lot more, and we'd like to have a bunch of NA beer on tap. So you get even more of that bar experience. We could do like tastings of things and just make it like a full experience for everybody. Just different beverages.
What can people do to help get you there?
We'll just keep showing up. We've had so many people support, on social media and by coming in, saying hi, grabbing a drink. So just keep showing up the way that you're showing up and supporting us. We are currently going through the Calling All Dreamers program. That's going to be wrapping up in March with the winner announced in April. And then after that, we are, hoping to get into our permanent space and get the ball rolling there. So, to do that, we just need you all to keep showing up and sharing the information with your friends and family and just... That's it.
Yeah. So when you were starting to do this project, there's like you mentioned, there's a place in San Francisco that does this as well. Did you check out those bars and kind of get an idea of what they were doing?
We have a mentor. His name is Chris, and he's the owner of Sands Bar in Austin.
Okay.
So we took a class through him and kind of learned, like, his focus is on spreading this movement of, non-alcoholic bars. And so we took a class with him and learned a lot from him, but we haven't had a chance to go to Ocean Beach Cafe. That's in San Francisco. But I feel like we learned most of what we needed to know from Chris.
Yeah, we've done a lot on the local scene, like going to all the different bars and restaurants and trying out, all the NA menus and having the conversations with people. Like, we've talked with a few restaurant and bar owners here about helping them develop an NA section on their menu. So just making it more normalized and more common in our local community has kind of been our focus.
Yeah, that's great that you guys are doing that, but getting out there and teaching bars about this, because that's part of it. Because this is, in the grander scheme, a small part of it. Because to find you, they have to know that they're available. And that's kind of the education that needs to go out there.
No, I think that brings up a good point, though. Half of our job is educating people. So it's been interesting and fun teaching people about this, but also just hearing what everybody has to say. There's so many people that don't drink, and I feel like they're not super vocal about it.
Right. Because they get made fun of. There's like a stigma to be like, hey, I don't drink, which is a very strange thing to me, because it's just a regular life choice anyone can make. Some people have bad reactions to it. They're like, I don't get mad. It's like literally my body cannot process it. Yeah. Like, that's a totally valid thing. There's so many valid reasons to not do it or to curb it or whatever the case may be, which I just spurred the question here. How do you find your people? Like, what is your way to retain clients or gather clients?
So far it's been a lot of social media. Through the Calling All Dreamers program, we got introduced to, some of the reporters at Good Day Sacramento. So we did a few segments there. We had an interview in Comstock magazine. We did a segment for KCRA, Insight on Cap Radio. So from a lot of those publications, we've had people, either reading or listening to them. and coming in and telling us that. But I think probably the bulk of it is Instagram. I try to ask almost everybody that comes in how they heard about us, like what brought them in that day. And most people, I think, say Instagram.
Instagram, SACB, or like KCRA.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, because it's a visual medium. Facebook's not really designed for that. You can talk about it for a million years. This is 2023. You need the picture and a quick blurb. That's what Instagram is designed for. It's easy to share. I know I've shared several of your posts. I've seen friends sharing the posts because I think it's important that people know this is around. I have plenty of sober friends that I'm like I have a friend. I'm like, we need to figure out a day to come down here. So
yeah,
I'm going to go interview him today. So I'll get back to you with any updates.
Get all the details.
Get all the details out of them.
Yeah, we have a lot of events coming up. So we're in this space temporarily until the end of March. So as Grace said, we have this wonderful open mic night coming up on Thursday. We have some ticketed events that are sold out, but other than that, we're doing like live music on the 17th. We're doing a couple of sip and shops on a few Saturdays coming up. We're doing tarot stand up on Thursday, February 23rd. Also just open, free show. So we're just, trying to do things to get people engaged and interested and show them that you can go out and have fun and be social and you don't have to get drunk to do it.
Yeah. And when you find your permanent space, do you plan on having like a restaurant type side to it at all? Or is it just going to be the bar set up?
We definitely want some sort of food and an outdoor space. I would love it if we were in a space and could have like food trucks come by. I don't know. But probably not a full restaurant.
Yeah, more like like small bites, like tapas, things like that.
Yeah, and then food truck for like occasions or whatever.
Yeah.
Or whatever the case may be.
Bringing somebody in, to cater special events, things like that.
Yeah. And how are you sourcing your products?
We have a few distributors. Some of the products we get directly. We met a lot of the owners of these companies through Chris, which was great. And then Fair.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a few wholesale websites. As Kathryn said, mostly through the companies themselves. They like to know who their clients are. They like to be involved in the industry and the community. So they're all really good about like forging those relationships. And
So do you kind of get a chance to taste all the offerings they have and kind of get to choose your menu? You're not like, oh yeah, that sounds good. We'll just take it. Tasting program you're going through?
Some have sent us samples, which has been great. But a lot of it has just through word of mouth. We've heard it's like really good, or we've tried it. We have a huge like stock at home. So we had to invest in a lot.
Big investment when we stopped drinking. I was like, I need a replacement.
Yeah.
So
a lot of research that you didn't know you were doing.
Exactly. Yes. We also brought in a consultant who has been a bartender for 10 years and, sober for several of those. And, so she has some experience with all of the different spirits and beers and things like that. So, her knowledge has also helped us like up our game and, kind of build out the menu and give us some, perspectives that we didn't have before.
Yeah.
I'm excited you're doing it. And I just hope that you guys keep, I'm going to keep using you guys. I'm trying to cut it out of my vocabulary and I just get worse with it.
I like to say y'all.
That's what I said I'm going to replace it with. And I just double down on you guys. I've referenced it so many times. I'm like, I'm going to stop this. And I just like do it worse. So where was I going before I went on my own? I'm excited to see what happens when you start discovering just how many places this is available, how many varieties you can get, and when they find out about you, because these venues, these makers they need to sell their product somehow, and getting it to somebody who can help is a big step. And I think, as NA bars start popping up more often, there's another way in to get your stuff out there. And so I think it's a mutually beneficial thing.
Yeah, it's been pretty great. I mean, a lot of the companies that we work with are open to like sponsorship. So for this open mic night, we have coming up with Speak Out Sacramento. Droma is one of the like adaptogenic beverages that we really love. The owner of that company has been wonderful.
Super
and
nice.
Yeah, super helpful. So he sent us some samples and we like instantly loved everything. We're like, send us cases. So, he's been, nice enough to sponsor this open mic night. So all of the performers, anyone, gets free drinks on him. So, we do have a lot of support like that because in addition to wanting their product to be more like accessible or like available in spaces, they also want to get it in front of as many people as they can. So like they're all open to sponsorships like that and just, giving this alternative lifestyle to people. And
so you used a word I don't think I've heard. You said adaptogenic?
Adaptogenic.
Adaptogenic.
Yes.
What is that?
So they're beverages made with adaptogens, which are, from like mushrooms and different, herbs and plants, things like that do something functional for your body. So whether that's like calming your central nervous system or, opening up your neural pathways, like giving you a mood boost, things like that. So they just do something functional for your body, aside from just being a delicious ingredient in a drink.
Okay. Yeah. So what kind of things are they making?
There's a few different spirits of different flavors. So they'll bring in, a lot of like berry notes and then like cardamom. They're just like flavorful.
They're
spirits.
usually pretty like herb heavy. I don't know.
Yeah,
actually, we can grab.
I'm down to try a new thing. I love a new thing. Like, for instance, I haven't said this yet. I am drinking a Best Day Brewing West Coast IPA. I think pretty solid IPA, easy drinking, light bodied, a little bit less hoppy than I would expect for a West Coast, but I'm not mad about it because it's still like decently hopped, So
yeah.
I mean, if you're up for it,
I'm up for an adaptogenic beverage of sorts.
Grab it.
I'm allowed to drink not beer things on this beer podcast.
Perfect.
I think I make the rules here, and I will break them. Grace, I don't think we've ever formally met.
So nice to meet you, Ben.
Yes. But anyway, I ran into you at the Creation District album release at Harlow's. It was great. I had a great time, bought the disc, all that stuff. And I was like, this is an incredible person. And then I kept running into you. And that by me running into you, I mean, there's Grace again. And you're like doing something very cool. Just because of Shahara Hyatt, you work together all the time on all kinds of things. And so I consider her a very close and dear friend. And
We
so
do. People get us confused a lot, which is
I don't even know how to
compliment.
but also very confusing to me.
Thank you.
There are different energies. There's different looks. I don't know. I don't see how it happens. That's just me. But anyway, you are always doing something incredibly cool.
Thank you.
How does that even happen? How did you even find your way into all the things you do? And can you talk about the projects so that it's not just me knowing already what they are?
Sure. Thanks so much for that really kind and open-ended invite.
You're welcome.
Sweet. Well, yeah, I am, I guess I'll come out right now on this podcast. I am not a Sacramento native.
Me neither.
Okay. Awesome. Where are you from?
All over.
All right. Perfect.
Yeah,
I'm from the East Coast, but I moved here almost 9 years ago. And I had a passion for working in like the healing arts. So I really wanted to work with people in some kind of way to help heal through the arts. And I kind of got my foot in the door working with Waking the Village, which is an incredible nonprofit here. It's been here for over 2 decades, supporting young adults experiencing homelessness in just stabilizing their lives in really holistic and beautiful ways. And I started there as a coach, so doing kind of case management. And the founders of that program were incredible in helping me start the Creation District underneath the umbrella of Waking the Village. And the Creation District is what I do now. We've been going on for, like 7 years now. So it's grown a ton. And our mission is to support youth and young adults experiencing homelessness through the lens of the arts. So we work with youth to help them achieve their wellness goals, their employment goals, their education goals. But everything we do is through the lens of the arts. So whether it's making an album of music, we have a youth-run record label where youth write and record independent music and produce album release shows. And we also have a street art reach program where we use a remodeled van and we go around to encampments and shelters and reach young adults through having pop-up open mics and access to the arts, but then also can connect them to shelter and survival services that way. And just believe that it's a connecting and healing tool. So that is like my primary passion above all else, is just helping people heal through the arts and in turn healing myself through the arts. And I guess that's how I got involved in all the quote unquote stuff I do. Everything stems off from that.
Yeah, that's why I refer to it as stuff. It's just
no,
things.
it is stuff.
It's all stuff.
100%. Yeah, my website used to be Grace Makes Stuff. It's just kind of a myriad of stuff.
Right. Yeah. It's like you're creative. It's like, I don't know what it's going to be. Is it going to be music? Is it going to be a poem? Is it going to be a comedy? Is it going to be a story? Is it going to be, well, I don't know. It'll be a thing of some sort.
100%. 100%. Yeah. My passion is in making creative spaces. Also, I really like to see, that's how like Speak Out Sacramento is, just like, opening up a stage or a platform where other people can feel inspired to share their craft. And I think that's really beautiful. Yeah,
I think it is. And if you needed help, how would people find a way to help you out?
Oh, please help us out. So through the Creation District, you can check out our website. We're always accepting, of course, monetary donations. It is a nonprofit program, so we rely on the support of the community to keep that program running. But we also do accept donations of art supplies. Always. We stock our studio with gently used canvases, sketchbooks, paints, guitars, anything musical is how we create. Everything we have comes from the community. So you can follow us on Instagram Instagram, DM us if you have some donations. We also have a youth-run street outreach program. So we train the youth at the Creation District to become street outreach workers in the community. I went out with an awesome team of young people today to bring survival supplies to our unhoused neighbors. So we're always accepting street outreach supplies. So like backpacks and sleeping bags, tents, granola bars, flashlights, all of those things. So DM us on Instagram. Check out our website, thecreationdistrict.com. You can DM me, Grace Loescher, on Instagram. It's a good connection point. And we're always looking for support. And teaching artists. We contract with local artists all over the city to teach workshops in their craft in that space.
Yeah, and it's funny that you bring up that, you teach the people that you're doing it so that they can take on what you're already doing and keep furthering the project. And when I was thinking about doing something similar to what you are doing here, there's this place also in San Francisco that I found very fascinating. I don't know if you've heard of them, Grace. Manny's in San Francisco?
I don't think so.
Okay. It's a very cool, it's a bar with like a big performance space in the back. It's got a library that you can donate books to. It's like a political library. They host politicians and things like that. And they have a garden in the back that they use to like pull their herbs from when they're cooking. And they also, their staff is the unhoused, and they train them in how to cook and how to like talk about these things and make these things and how to interact with people and like learn life skills that they can then put out in there, while also providing them housing and things like that. So I was like, that's a lot of stuff that you do in like a pretty small space, really. It's probably 3,000 square feet, but they do a lot with it.
100%. I think that's so.
And I just found and it's also beautiful, but
yeah. And just giving people platforms. I think there certainly is an education element, but so much of it is like, yeah, the young artists I'm working with are already doing their shit. They're already doing their craft. They just need a stage or a space. And there's so many barriers in the way due to their like housing status or all of those things that keep them from being able to rock. So it's cool to just eliminate those barriers and let people do what they're already awesome at.
Access. It's this basically the thing that's blocking everything. Just access. Who has access? And why can't everyone have access? I think is a question that we don't ask enough. Why is there a barrier to entry to art?
100%.
Yeah, there shouldn't be.
I just don't understand. I never understood that.
Yeah, it's a head scratcher.
Yeah. It's like, I get it. Like, yeah, at some point, like, this is a higher level where you have to be good at it. But like, people get better at art. That's how creation works. Like, you're always going to think ahead of what your skill level is. So what are we doing?
Absolutely.
So I want to thank you for giving people that space. Like, it's really cool to see.
Oh, thanks so much.
Yeah. Because there was I don't remember his name. It's been a while since I listened to Disc. But there's a rapper that you guys had. I'm like, this guy has some great rhymes, but he has not been on stage enough. He doesn't have stage breath. And it was really, I was like, this is good. He's just tight. He doesn't know how to do it live. And that's like
100%.
It's such a different experience to like do it in a studio than it is to do it on a stage with all that energy around.
Totally. And it's really cool to see like some of the young folks at the Creation District I've been working with for like 7 years now, and watching just people kind of start their journeys and then be all the way to they've produced their 3rd, 4th, 5th album is really cool to see.
Yeah. All right, so we've been brought an adaptogenic beverage of sorts.
Yeah, so this is Calm from Droma. It has notes of ginger, molasses, and melon paired with adaptogens. It's an interesting drink.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're meant to, they're great to enjoy on their own. We also have this one on the menu in a drink called You Need to Calm Down. It's got some vanilla, some citrus, some bitters in it as well, just to kind of like, change it up a little bit. But I mean, I think they're great on their own.
Yeah, this is really good.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It's different.
Yeah. And it's very bold flavoring, which I like.
Yeah. And so like these kind of drinks can give you like a bit of a buzz feeling or like a chilled out feeling without the hangover.
Yeah, because your body's used to pairing it with, it assumes the alcohol is there.
Well, there's that, like that placebo effect a lot of people get, but this also has those adaptogens in it that do something to you.
Okay, I
so
got you.
yes, they can give you a little bit of a physical feeling, as well.
Mushrooms, different herbs.
Like reishi mushrooms, not like hallucinogenic mushrooms.
It's like, we're getting a whole different mind space for some reason. No.
Yeah, there's no alcohol, but...
hallucinogens. Lots of hallucinogens in this, but no alcohol. And that's what's important.
Exactly. Yes.
That day's coming. And that's fine also.
Yeah.
Really. Whatever vessel you need to use to get to what you're looking for.
Yeah. I mean...
100%.
Anyway.
Grace, I have to ask you, I meant to ask you this when you were just here for trivia night. Where did you get your sweatshirt?
Thanks so much. It was a gift, but I know it was from an Etsy shop. Oh my gosh, I wish I could shout out the name of it now because a buddy bought it for me. But I will have to shout it out and we can link it to this podcast because it's awesome. And it reads Queer AF for anyone who was wondering out there.
It's perfect. I feel like it's got like, the queer as fuck, but also like
sure.
queer alcohol free.
Yeah, hella true.
Oh.
Yeah, hella true.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'll
All
send
right,
you
so we're
the
going
link.
to just get that licensing out now.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm just going to do that now.
Absolutely.
That's great. Just make your own ones, but also,
No,
change them.
want to support creators as
Right.
well.
Yeah, you have to
so,
create.
I love it. And we talked about like when we got home, like, we should have asked her where it came from.
Now you're right here.
Yep.
Already happening. Wearing it again, coincidence
I know.
or on purpose.
Yeah, I don't do my laundry often. Now I've come out twice on this podcast.
Yeah.
Catch me in this on Thursday.
Love it.
She saw the question in your eye. She's like, they didn't ask. I'll wear it again. 'Cause I know they wanted to, and it'll be a reminder
Yes.
to ask the question. She's that intuitive.
Thank you for that framing.
Right.
Yeah. We are so excited to have you in here on Thursday. We just, we have Sapphic Saturday, the last Saturday of every month. And so Grace hosted L Word Trivia, and it was incredible.
She did such a good job.
Such an amazing job. Like, you were very talented.
Thank you so much. That was fun. It's always fun to party with a room full of queer folks.
Yeah, it was amazing. Yeah, I was looking forward to that for like all month. As soon as we decided to do that, it was like the event I was the most excited about. So, amazing.
Thank you. That was hella fun.
Yeah, and it's a mixed mic, right? Mixed mic, right?
Yes, mixed mic. So in the past, when we've had comedians, spoken word artists, solo musicians, full bands. We had someone do acro yoga. I love when people get weird. I keep trying to encourage people to get super weird. I'm trying to encourage people to do like 5-minute theater up there, but it's super mixed, super diverse.
So excited.
Okay. Have you thought about pulling aside? That's probably a better way to do it. Don't rip them to shreds. We're going to tear them down and build them back up. People that have like shown performance skill and then a writing skill and paired them to come up with a 5-minute thing, maybe encourage like pairing off in that kind of way.
I've definitely thought a lot about it. And as a tiny shout out, next month I'm doing a show at B Street Theater, and where it's going to be
no longer on B Street.
Yes, exactly. It'll be at the Sophia. But we're thinking about making it kind of a vibey open mic where, maybe we're collaborating with putting different artists together. I'd love to do sort of like a, kind of like game show open mic where it's just an element that gets kind of weird.
Yes.
And I think the theater is conducive for that. So stay tuned. That show is going to be fun and it might get weird.
Yeah.
That sounds great. We live right down the street, so we will be there.
Cool.
Yeah. There was an open mic in San Francisco that was called Pizza Mic, and they had a wheel you had to spin before you went up.
So cool.
Yeah, and it was like you can do a 10-minute set instead of 5, but in order to do that, you have to run around the block before you start, and that counts towards your time.
Oh, I love that.
And it was like a good industrial block. It was like a big block. So like you probably were only going to do like 4 minutes. So it was actually a punishment. Just like, and like, you have to do your like a TV clean set, or they have to like do it in an old timey voice or whatever the thing was.
Yep.
Unfortunately, it was at a pizza place. So one of the things was you have to chug a container of ranch before you go up.
Gosh.
Oh,
And I don't know how you feel.
That sounds awful.
Awful.
not a ranch cake.
I could do it.
Yeah. I figured I was like, this is the worst thing I could ever get in this list. I don't enjoy ranch in any way. I really hate it. I don't want it near things I am doing, let alone do I want to drink it alone.
It's a hilarious idea because I try to make the stage sort of as enticing as possible for folks. So I love the idea of like just really making it awful and seeing what people come up with.
Yeah. And so I did it, and I was like, okay, I'm going to talk about ranch for a few minutes because I don't enjoy this. And I'm talking, it's like dripping down my teeth. Like, this is awful. And I had to talk about that. I'm like, I have to talk about how I'm feeling about this ranch dripping in my mouth.
I could not.
But wheels are fun. I guess is the point. Just spin a wheel. And you can make them all positive things. You don't have to have any torture devices in there.
That's true.
Chug of ranch.
That's true.
We had one. This is how I knew a guy was really talented at comedy. Is they had a deprivation chamber where they give you noise canceling headphones and blinders, and so he couldn't see you or hear you, and he had to tell his jokes as if and he like had his timing down. He's like, here's where my punchline is. This is how long this audience should laugh. I'll wait, and I'll tell the next part, and I'll wait, and it's like to the second. Like people were laughing, they'd stop. Next part. Like it was crazy. I was like, this guy knows what he's doing. So funny. And then just a lot of really bad comedy also. But that was really special to see.
Yeah. that sounds really special.
I'm like, I need to book this guy so much. And I've booked him once. And it's been like 8 years. I sent him a really long message like, hey, I don't know why I keep not messaging you. I think it's because I think about you at 2 a.m., which is like a weird
I've
admission.
used that line.
But I'm like, I keep forgetting in the morning and then in the afternoon and then it's 2 o'clock again. And I just keep putting it on the back burner, but you need to come do shows with me. I'm so sorry. I'm going to, like, I sent it to him like 3:30 in the morning. I'm like, this is not a lie. I just literally like, oh, I haven't booked this person in a while. I should reach out. And so a lot of people have been getting a lot of weird messages from me. It's just like, because I'm trying to be more intentional about like, hey, if you like want to tell somebody something, but you keep forgetting just when it's convenient for you, because hey, if their notification chimes are on, that's their fault. That's if you're asleep, you don't have to make it so it doesn't wake you up. If it woke you up, that's your fault.
Yeah, I put my phone.
I shouldn't have to carry that weight.
Oh yeah, me too. And I feel like the one time I don't put it on sleep mode, there's like some stupid Facebook notification going off at like 1 a.m. So then I'm getting scolded for that. So now it's part of the nightly routine. Is sleep mode.
Yep. Yeah, you have to do it. And we've all learned. And we still make mistakes. We are human. And we need to forgive it when it happens. And work to be better the next day.
I am still working on myself.
I hope so. I don't think you are allowed to stop. I don't think you're...
well,
you are.
True. Good point.
You shouldn't stop, I guess, is the...
Yeah.
Keep it pushing.
Keep going, yeah. All right. I'm also... One of my goals this year is to keep the episode shorter so I don't have to do so much work in the editing bay.
Love that.
Okay.
So, is there anything you feel like the listeners need to know about you, about the Teetotalist, about the NA movement, about being creative, about being a person?
I think just keep doing what makes you happy. I mean, that may not vibe with what everyone else is doing, but I mean, you've got to take care of yourself. And so whether that means, cutting out alcohol, whether that means, trying something new, it means, expressing yourself through art, whatever that is, like just do you.
Yeah. And we're here for it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's a yes and. All right,
I heard a yes and too. And we're going to make a game show with a wheel about it. So do let us know.
Yeah. I'm happy to do it. And where can people find out more if they wanted to find out more? Is there a website, an Instagram page I heard about, perhaps?
Yes, our Instagram is the Teetotalist Sac. So that's where most of our announcements come from. You can also find us on Facebook under the Teetotalist. We're more active on Instagram, but things do get pushed to Facebook. So either one of those.
And then Grace, where can people find out more about you, your projects, all the stuff?
Similarly, you can catch us on Instagram, The Creation District. Follow us there. It's at The Creation District. Speak Out Sacramento at Speak Out Sacramento. We keep it simple.
Yeah, keep it straightforward. I did forget this question. What is a teetotalist for the listeners under 43? 65.
I Googled this. I'll say that much.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like a lot of people do. Before I had stopped drinking, I hadn't heard the term, or maybe I did and just forgot because alcohol killing my brain cells. But a teetotaler is a person who doesn't drink. And so we thought, we're coming up with names for our space. And we thought the Teetotalist was a good name for like the space is alcohol free. But that doesn't mean that everybody that comes in here is sober or alcohol free.
Exactly. Do you know where that word came from?
We do.
You do? Great, because I do not. So this is not a gotcha.
I don't remember his name.
Okay, I want to say his name was Dickie Turner. It was like Richard Dickie Turner. I think it was 1833. He was doing this like public speech.
Temperance movement.
Yes, telling people that they should totally abstain from alcohol for health reasons. And he had a stutter, so he said teetotally abstain. And it just kind of caught on. So like teetotalers, it was like a whole movement. And legend says it's on his tombstone that he was that he coined that word, the teetotaler.
Dickie Turner.
Mm-hmm.
That's all right. Cool. Yeah. That's not the story I would expect. Like, okay, we're gonna have totally not drinking. What the tea? The tea's gonna be something an old timey. They're like,
it was.
But
a stutter.
it's just a stutter, and it's like we could call it the Teetotalist, but we're like, no, tea. We're just gonna really make him sound even worse. I don't know, but it's absolutely a movement that should exist as far as that goes. Check out all the events. Hours subject to change, location subject to change.
So
as we go,
we're at 830 K Street. We're open Thursday.
The entrance is right in front of the light rail station, not off of 9th Street, like GPS will tell you.
Yeah.
Well, GPS will never be right about anything. The number hasn't been dropped off in back alleys. I'm like, why are we like this?
Yes, we have people think we're closed because they go to like the wrong door, but it is in front of the light rail station.
Yeah. We're open Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Thursday, it's 4 to 10. Friday, 4 to 10. Saturday, 2 to 10.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Peak hours.
Yes, and we are here through the end of March. So we will be updating our Instagram and Facebook with changes as they come up, as we find our permanent home and get everything locked down for that. We'll be sure to share that out with everybody. But for now, come see us on K Street.
Absolutely. And for Barley and Me, I've been Ben Rice. You can find Barley and Me across social media at Barley and Me Pod. Let's see, I do a bunch of comedy shows there on there. I've changed it to, by the time this goes up, it should be officially changed to Barley and Me Pod-uctions. Because I'm a thinker. And I love a pun that is hard to say and a lot to explain. So that's a thing. I have a basketball and beer podcast. Please dunk responsibly. Check that out. And I also Bengineer. It's Crazier in My Business, an advice podcast from comedians Becky Lynn and Tavi. And I'm sure there's something else I did recently that I was like, oh, I should talk about this. But I'll remember that for the next episode. So this has been I have notes. Episode 168 of Barley and Me with Amanda Brincat and Kathryn Altman from the Teetotalist. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
And Grace Loescher from the Creation District, amongst others. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
And thanks so much for listening. Stay home safe.